scrape some of this stuff off.
Is that what makes the turkey delicious?
Yeah, this is the tinder box.
And that would be the applewood?
Yeah. In fact,
But I'm not going to use the old one in there.
probably could. You could probably start with those.
Do I add water?
Huh?
Do I add water to that
This
chart?
one. This one here.
That one
Where you
holds the
put
water.
Yep.
And the other one is solely wood?
Is all wood. Yep. And, okay. The important thing, you're going to have to clean this stuff up a little, scrape it with a scraper. I didn't know it was dirty. I usually don't put it away like that. Okay, here's the key things. It takes about an hour at least for it to start smoking. You'll see the smoke come out of the vent in the back, out around the perimeter. It takes at least an hour.
Does that mean I have to start the turkey an hour before I would have?
No, this says nothing. I'm talking about you start this an hour before you plan on putting the turkey in.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I said, kind of.
No, you said exactly the opposite.
Okay. So I start this an hour early.
You gonna help, Jack? Yeah, at least. Probably an hour and a half is what I would say.
Okay.
Now, this goes in here, and as you can see, this has got a dial, and it's got a red light on it. And I would start it on about medium until you see smoke.
Okay.
There's a little light here. There it is. See the light?
Yeah, so the light is... Okay,
That
alright,
indicates
got
where
it.
you are with the dial. And here's the good news. This kind of weather is the best for smoking, because when it's really hot outside, it's hard to get it toned down this enough where it isn't cooking the turkey with heat. Because what you want, as I said, you're not cooking with heat.
Okay.
And so a lot of times it's kind of, now you should be able to be somewhere, if my memory serves me correct, between low and medium to keep the wood smoking, but also to not have it start on fire and not have it quit smoking. There's got to, there's the heat element down, or yeah, right here. And so that's kind of and that's, you've got to monitor as you're doing it, is watch, and you might see
How often?
every half hour to, once you get it. But then probably a couple hours into it, you're going to have to change the wood.
Okay.
Actually, I dump that wood. Start with, because you have plenty. And you'll go through 2 or 3 batches of wood,
Okay.
meaning filling
Every hour and a half.
roughly.
Okay.
And the nice thing about the cold weather is, I want to make sure you understand this. You can run it where you should be able to have this high enough where you keep the wood smoking, because if this gets too low, then the wood stops smoking. And you should be able to have it high enough where the wood smokes, and yet you're not, when you turn it up high, often the higher you turn it up, you can always get the wood smoking. If you turn it up to high, the wood actually will start on fire. But hey, what are you doing, silly?
Yeah, okay.
But you
And I can tell the wood is smoking because it might come through the back there.
you'll see smoke trickling out the back and around.
And am I going to want to leave that vent open all the time?
Yeah, right about where it is. It's
Okay.
about halfway. I mean, this thing isn't airtight. You can see you'll see smoke coming out of the casing.
So if I see smoke, good. If I don't see smoke, bad.
Then, well, 2 things. You could be out of wood.
Okay.
The wood could be charred. Like, I don't think that has a lot left in it.
Yeah.
It never goes to ash, but you'll see it's not smoking much, and then and when you put new wood in there, what I usually try to do, Chris, is mix new wood in with the old stuff.
Okay.
Keep it alternating.
All right.
So you're not, because obviously if you took this out, dumped whatever was in there and start over, then you got another hour of nothing happening. and I think here, I think they say the ideal range is right around 150. I found most of the times you're going to be a little higher than that
I read online it's around 200
for this cooking temp.
for smoking something.
Oh, but you know that's interesting. That might be true. If it was, I've smoked a lot in the winter when it's cold. That's really nice because then you can have this pretty high and there's a lot of smoke.
Okay.
And whereas smoking in the summer is not real good because it tends, you have to have this so low and then the wood doesn't smoke. So then you're cooking with heat when you turn it up, and then it becomes, you kind of want to find that balancing mechanism between smoke coming out of it and it quitting.
Now what's the thing on the bottom here?
What?
It looks like it pulls out on the bottom of the rack. Not there.
Oh,
right
that's
there.
a tray where stuff goes in for like drippings from your turkey.
Okay, so you can keep
And
it.
they drip in here too, obviously. And you know, it's not a pretty thing, and it doesn't have to be. But it's real important that you remember, like I said, that you're cooking with smoke, not heat, because it's not going to be good if you know. I mean, then it's just like you put it in the oven. The whole idea is
Nobody wants that.
no.
Nobody wants a
And if
fully
you've ever
cooked
seen
turkey.
people smoke, and the Indians, that's the whole key, is to have the smoke trapped in a, you know, I mean, they often do it where they make smokers out of great big sheds that you can walk in and you know, build a big teepee fire in there and, you know, wet wood, apple wood and stuff like this. This is apple wood. We have found, by the way, apple wood, we've tried them all. Pecan, we've tried everything. Applewood seems to be the best flavor, I gotta tell you.
All right, I believe you.
And in fact, we gave up on trying other woods because they just didn't, you know, we just found apple to be the best with everything. I mean, certain books will say use, you know, peach wood for this, and you know, I suppose if people are real fanatics and get involved in this, get into all that, but applewood, you just always seem a wonderful flavor.
Okay.
And the bird, like I told you, cut it down the middle and split it,
Okay.
and put one on one rack, one on another rack.
Are the racks exactly where they need to be?
No, those are movable. There's,
Well, I mean, for my situation,
as long as it'll fit.
are they where? The one on the bottom is high enough? Do I need to switch the bird? The one on
No.
the top and the one on the bottom at halfway point?
No,
No.
it wouldn't hurt.
So opening and closing the door to change out the wood and whatnot doesn't really
It
hurt the
wouldn't hurt
smoking
because
process?
I think the one on the bottom tends to get cooked a little faster. But then I'm not sure. I never, because heat rises and more of your heat's going to be trapped up in
Okay.
this area. We never really did that. But
Do I need to flip the turkey over at any point?
no. And there again, because you're not cooking with heat,
Okay.
it's the smoke all, and you know, when you should, what you want too is, if you want to check it and look at it in the middle of the process and you go like this, the whole area in there should be smoky.
Okay. All right.
When you open the door, it should, you know, of course it'll clear out when you open the door, but then and I forget what they say when you smoke. It does not apply to the normal thing because
The temperature.
because you're cooking.
I read online what I thought, which was 165. So
That could be right. That could be right.
I mean, across the board, usually poultry is 165.
Yeah, but it should. Yeah,
So if I'm smoking at 150, how am I going to get it to 165?
well, no, you'll be up. I think probably 200, but you won't ever get. I don't. You might get to 165. You might.
Okay. Alright.
But
But it shouldn't be bloody.
no, and it won't be. But making sure it's smoked in throughout is tricky. We never the temperature of the turkey. I don't remember specifically. That you might still want to be 165. Yeah. So
And I'm going to start it like 7 hours before finish time because I'm
well, that's
betting-
another beautiful thing because
betting on 5 hours for cooking the turkey, and if there's an accident, then I have 2 hours to
to
recoup,
head to lunch.
to up the temperature in here and just cook it all the way, or put it in the oven or something.
Yeah. But you shouldn't. And one thing I will tell you. Well, you've had enough turkey dinners in your life where most of the turkeys, by the time the whole family sat down and it's put on the table and it's been all sliced up, the thing's cold anyways.
Yeah, that's gonna be the situation.
But smoked turkey is good cold.
Oh, all right.
It's good.
There you go.
And we had my sister and brother-in-law over one year, and they said, "This is just delicious." And I said, "Well," and when we told them it's smoked, it isn't. But it is a different concept, And I remember reading.
Is there such thing as smoking it too long? Let's say I do it 7 hours ahead
you
of
get
time.
it dried out. I think if you just smoked it forever, it would dry out.
Well, I mean, if I cooked it 2 more hours than 5 hours, so 7 hours, just to keep it warm, and I turn down the heat a little bit, just to keep it warm,
Yeah.
Is that gonna hurt it?
I've never used it as a warmer. Or
Okay,
I've never used it under that.
Okay.
I think making sure it's done, and like I said, I'm a couple things. I have a book upstairs. You don't have time to read it, obviously.
And I'm
But I'm
illiterate
smoking.
anyway, so.
And if you ever watch specials on TV, like that Steven Reichland, that's one of the premier barbecue smoker guys in the world.
Okay.
It's just so important to know you're not cooking with heat.
Yeah. Okay.
And the concept is very different altogether.
All right.
And yes, I think it is supposed to be 165, and but being you're having it out, it's not that hard to get an accurate temperature read.
Yeah. So go over this water tray and the wood a little more in depth.
Yeah. Oh, this will run out of water often.
Just keep it topped up always.
Yeah, I always had a pitcher, and I would just come.
Okay. All right.
And this stuff will be hot.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, so you want to use
I don't even need to take it out. I just need to pour like a
I
pitcher.
usually
in.
would just go like this and pull it up again and stuff it in.
Yeah. Okay. And then the wood.
Start fresh. Yeah, dump
Start
that.
fresh. And no water in the wood.
No, other than pull
Just
them
take it out of
right
there.
out of there in the water. It doesn't matter if they're dripping. The water will be gone in
And you
seconds.
said there's enough wood in there for how many?
Way more than you're going to need. There's enough wood in there to, look at the amount of pieces in there. Look what's in here now.
I just set it in there in one row. Is the wood spaced at all?
No, just
Just right up next to each other?
yeah, just
One row.
like a layer, and then like I said, when the wood starts to get run down, after you've warmed it up for an hour and a half, and you see smoke starting, you're ready to go. Then you might not get but 45 minutes to an hour out of that batch of wood, and slowly, as you see it diminish, then I would just come and add a piece or 2 or 3 at that point, and then that's a process you keep doing. Just add wood.
So am I taking out wood before I add wood?
No, I think I might. It wouldn't hurt if you saw if some of it's completely done to to take out some just to make room. But the
So when I initially put wood in there, leave spaces because I'm going to add wood in those spaces, fresh wood.
I don't fill a packet,
Okay.
you know. And most of these pieces, a lot of them are very small. So when it starts, there's also wedges. A lot of them are wedges. I would see how that's not big. Well, there's a real tiny piece.
And then you just like take your hands and put olive oil all over the turkey.
We've done that. Is all we do is take the olive oil on the turkey, take your two hands, smooth it all over the turkey, and
Deep tissue massage.
yeah, exactly.
All right.
And then it's if you get the fundamentals, the important things down. Make sure this thing keeps smoking. That's what's going to be the make or break thing to where the people at the table are going, this is fabulous.
Okay. Keep it smoking.
Yep. And like I said, finding that balancing mechanism between keeping it smoking, keeping it hot enough to make sure the wood is still smoking, but not so hot that you starting to cook the turkey. That would still work, but that becomes an oven then.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to keep that process as slow as possible.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else I need to know, or is that it?
Well, I don't know. Is there any questions? You've asked, I think, the important things.
Start at medium. If it gets too hot, put it to low.
Well, when you first go out initially, when you put all the fresh wood in there, I probably for a half hour would start it high.
Okay. To get it hot enough.
Yeah, just to get it going,
Mm-hmm.
and then just.
And then when I put the turkey in, set it to medium and see where it's at.
Yeah, and then if.
But keep it right around 150.
Yeah, and one thing to watch for too, if you see this thing starting to get up like 300, and this can be frustrating, and that's why I say this is good weather to do it in the summer.
Abort.
Well, it's not abort, but
Set it real low.
You're going to have to come down a little, and there's going to be a period. Well, in this weather, you should be fine because you
Okay.
should be able to run it. You shouldn't have that where it runs up to 350 because it's cool outside. It's mostly in the summer when I have that problem. This one's, I see this running up pretty high, and keep in mind you're just losing the smoke ability because then now you're cooking the turkey. It's going to be done a lot quicker. The longer you can cook it, and the more. It is possible, by the way. It can be done to smoke something where it's too smoky.
Really?
Yeah, I mean where I've cooked things where, but that would take. You'd have to really mess up to do that. I mean, I think that'd be like if you misread or understood something, you left it in there for 10 hours, and. But you've got an ideal day for doing this.
Perfect.
With it cool outside and.
All right.
By the way, not a surprise to you. You should understand this. Wherever you're going to plug this in, it better not be because this thing draws. It'll take all of 15 amps. If you're on a 15 amp circuit, and you got a heater going in the house or something, you're probably going to blow a circuit.
I'm going to
breaker.
put it outside the detached garage where nothing else is running.
Yeah. And I wouldn't run it all the way up. I would back off a little bit.
Okay.
Because this thing will, when you do that to start it, this thing will be just glowing red.
All right.
And remember, everything's hot. Your trays, don't forget when you're going to add wood, water tray. Make sure you have mitts or gloves that are, designed for that.
Okay. All right. That's it.
I think so.
And with the ventilation thing in the back, I don't really need to touch that.
You shouldn't have to, no.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, James.
I've got the vent in the back, I've never really found that to be a major deal. When you don't, the more you close it, it's in the middle point. If you closed it all the way, that's kind of that. There's a part of that that is fine, except there's a reverse problem with that, and that is, then the heat doesn't vent, and then again you're back to, it gets so damn hot in there.
Okay.
And that's, when I've done this a lot, and I got to tell you, you got to enjoy the process, but it takes tending to it. It's a lot of looking and a lot of, now the water pans, I got to add that, and
I'm going to thoroughly enjoy waking up at the ass crack of dawn tomorrow to do this.
Well, good. I actually enjoyed it. I always enjoyed, like I told you, we did one huge bird in my old one time where we had to hang it, but it had a hanger for, well, this I think did too, but I don't think it had a hanger that went from the two racks.
A little turkey
where the
noose.
whole bird hung in there, and we did a monstrous one that barely fit in there.
Wow.
And that thing, I cooked it for smoked it for 20 hours, and it wasn't done when we. So I and Cheryl, we've never done that since. We said have them out. It works a lot better.
And I should have the turkey completely thawed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
In fact, I would even say you want to have it sitting out for a while. Make sure it's room temperature.
All right.
Yeah. Any freezing would stifle the process
Sounds good.
immensely.